Hello and welcome to Get to Know Them podcast. This is a podcast in which I'm gonna talk with some of the world's highest performers in order to learn more about them. I'm your host, Cameron Shuligoy. I hope you enjoy. Okay, so who do we get to know today?
Miki Taagholt.
And who is Miki? What do you do?
Yeah, that is a good question. So I'm Miki Taagholt from Denmark, personal triathlete, 30 years old, um, and I have two kids.
That's nice. It's nice that you balance both your professional athlete life and your family life, and that you already have two kids at such a young age. I can say that I'm the same age as you, and I'm not even thinking about having kids.
Yeah, I've been with my now wife for 10 years, so I think that helps as well. But yeah, she wanted to have kids at a fairly early age, and I was like, oh, I don't know about sports and being a dad, and like I was still very passionate about triathlon. But actually, my best results have come after becoming a dad. So it definitely is possible to like balance both, but I think it requires that you have a very thorough talk about how you're going to do it before you have kids, because it definitely requires a lot from her, because I'm a lot away from home, and yeah, when the kids are sick, I sleep like separately and stuff like that. So we try to do it the best way possible. But yeah, it definitely required that we took some full talks before we decided to have kids.
I can imagine that, yes. Let's take a step back now and
hmm
talk about the starts of your triathlon journey. How did you get into triathlon?
So I started swimming. I've been swimming from a fairly young age, and I was okay at swimming. But like I wasn't any good. Like I couldn't qualify for even just Danish championships in swimming. So when I was 17 or 18, a triathlete started on my swim squad, and I was kind of on the edge of just stopping swimming. But he kind of dragged me into triathlon, and it took a little while, but um, yeah, I ended up loving the sport and fairly quickly became a member of the Danish national team. And for a long time, like 5 years, I think, 6 years, I did ITU, tried to qualify for the Olympics, and was actually also a part of the initial squad trying to qualify for the Olympics in Tokio. But yeah, fell short of that, and then had to decide, well, stop my triathlon career, or try to go longer. So yeah, I tried middle distance, and yeah, haven't really looked back ever since. But yeah, initially it's like swimming, and then yeah, someone got me dragged into triathlon. It was not like I'd heard about triathlon before that, but yeah, I'm really glad that he got me dragged into triathlon, and I'm now trying to influence the swimmers that I'm swimming with at the local tri club. Like when I can see that they're starting to get a little tired of swimming, try to see if I can get them out and try a little bit of tri.
Yeah, that's nice. If you look at your results, you can see that you have some pretty nice results already. But you mentioned that you were competing for the spot in the Tokyo Olympics. That's fairly recently, let's say. So when did you fully transition from, let's say, short course racing to longer course racing? And how was this transition?
So I did my first middle distance race in 2017, I think. In Herning, it was just a local race. We had the European champs on home soil, and I was like, why not just give it a shot just for the fun of it? So I didn't really like prepare for it in any way, and I finished first. I'm like, oh, that was pretty cool. But I still like at the same time, I still wanted to try and qualify for the Olympics, and the federation was still backing me for that. Um, but yeah, then I had a crash. I had a really bad crash back in 2012, and it took me a lot of time to get my confidence back on the bike. And then at European Champs in Düsseldorf, I had another really bad crash. And yeah, I never really like fully recovered from that. I was afraid of sitting in packs, and also I wasn't like a fast enough runner. But it was both like that I didn't run fast enough, but I was also not feeling confident riding in a pack. So I didn't really want to do ITU anymore. Um, so the federation was like, you either stop your career now or you try to go longer. And then having done the half distance on hometown finishing further, I was like, okay, that was actually pretty fun. So I decided to sign up for another one on Ibiza in 2018. And I finished second there, and I was like, okay, this might be the way to go. So I fully committed the winter of 2018, and then I had my first like full season in 2019, and then yeah, COVID hit in 2020. But yeah, I made the decision at the end of 2018, and then ever since then I've been targeting the longer distances.
That's nice. So you've obviously been in triathlon for a longer period of time. Tell me, what do you like the most about triathlon and what do you dislike the most?
What I like the most about triathlon is that there's always something to improve. And that I don't think you can ever have the perfect race. Like there will always be something that you could have done different. But there's so many things I like about triathlon. Like yeah, I mean the fact that you can improve on everything, but also just that I get to be like outdoors so much for my job. I love to be outdoors and I love to explore new places. And I think that like exploring new places, swim, biking, and running is just amazing. And then I think that there's so many cool people involved in triathlon. Like I think that homestays are one of the most amazing things I've ever tried. I think that's very unique for triathlon that people are willing to like open their homes and let you live in them. And I had some of my best experiences staying with other families in foreign countries and just getting to know the culture and different people like that is yeah amazing. And then I get to travel all over the world and see so many cool places. And yeah, I just feel like it's an amazing sport. And I think I love everything about triathlon. I don't know what that we don't have enough like referees. But I mean that's not really like yeah. I think that's probably the thing I dislike most is that the sport is still not, I would say, professional enough. But I mean we're definitely getting better, and I think Race Ranger is doing a great job at that as well. So we're definitely moving in the right direction. But yeah, overall I think triathlon is the best sport in the world.
That's nice to hear. And I think that's a sign that you're gonna have a even longer career than you've had so far.
Yeah, that's definitely the goal. Like I want to do triathlon as long as I can. I mean, yeah, I just think the sport is truly amazing. I mean, I haven't even tried. Like, I've done one Ironman, but I still feel like I have so much undiscovered ground. So I still feel like I barely haven't started my triathlon career, even though I'm 30 years old. I feel like I still have at least 10 more years left in the sport. So yeah,
That's very nice to hear. Tell me, which are your favorite swim, bike, and run workouts, and which workouts do you hate the most?
I think my favorite is maybe a long bike ride with some longer efforts. I think that's the one I enjoy the most. I think, yeah, just like a 7 hour ride is one of the most fulfilling feelings that you can have. Just coming home after 7 hours on the bike, just feeling completely smashed. It's just an awesome feeling. Um, I think one of the coolest rides I've ever done was during COVID when we decided to bike all the way around one of the islands on in Denmark. It was like 350 kilometers, I think, and it took us 11 hours or so, but it was so cool. And yeah, that's one of the best experiences I've ever had on a bike. That was just really special. And then to get to share with teammates was, yeah, that was amazing. I don't know about sessions that I generally dislike. I feel like I love all of them. I mean, a pool swim can be boring because it's just like you're just staring at the black line. So probably if I have to do like a longer session alone in the pool, but I rarely have to swim with a local tri club, no swim club, and then I have a local tri club as well. And then I also have some friends that I swim with, so it's very rarely that I swim alone. But probably like swimming would be the one that I dislike the most. But yeah, I mean I love all three disciplines. Yeah, and then again, an open water swim can be one of the best things to do because it can be so beautiful if you're out like in the ocean or in the lake on a beautiful sunny day. It's just awesome and just want to be out there all day. So yeah, I think all three disciplines can just be equally amazing.
That's great. And all of your answers so far have been so positive and so happy that I'm also afraid to ask the next question. But undoubtedly, you have some tough moments in your training. So tell me, what keeps you going when the things get hard for you?
Yeah, so it's been difficult since October. I've been injured a lot, and I've been sick as well. It's been tough with the kids, even though we try to separate me from them when they're sick. So yeah, I've been injured all on and off, and then I crashed leading up to St. George this year in May. But what like keeps me going is that I still feel like I have so much in triathlon that I haven't achieved yet that I want to achieve. Like I want to become world champion, and I feel like I had a genuine shot at becoming world champion last year in Latvia in Finland. I was in such good shape and I had everything prepared for it, and then I had an unfortunate slip coming out of transition and landed on my bike and bended my radiator, and that ended my race. But yeah, I mean, I still, yeah, I have the love for the sport, but I also have some very big ambitions that I want to achieve. And I have barely scratched any of that. Like I've only won 170.3 race, and I mean that's nothing. That was one of the best feelings I ever had was when I crossed the finish line first last year in Luxembourg. Um, and yeah, so yeah, I still have a lot of goals that I want to achieve, and that is what keeps me motivating, even when things don't go the way I want them to.
Would you say that that 70.3 win was the biggest success you've had so far in your life, or do you think that there's something else that was the biggest success?
I think the biggest success, like the biggest sporting success I've had was definitely that I finished fourth at Worlds in 2021. Also because it was so unexpected. I remember that my coach called me the night before the race and said, "Miki, you're in really, really good shape. Like, would you still like we had agreed that a top 10 at Worlds would be what we were aiming for and what we were hoping for?" And he was like I think you can do more than top 10 tomorrow. And I was like, if I can finish top 10 tomorrow, I'll be like over the moon. And that was generally how I felt the night before the race. And then to finish fourth was just like I had like not in any way anticipated that I was finished fourth. Like I had become a dad like 4 months before Worlds, and preparation had been really good, but at the same time I just didn't have like any expectation. It was my second race of 2021. I was just like I didn't know what to expect. Um, so to finish fourth right before Daniel Begegaard, my best friend, was yeah, that's the craziest feeling I've ever had. And I think if you go up and look at the finish line celebrations from that year, you can see how insane it was both for me and Daniel. That was yeah, that was really really cool, and I still get like goosebumps just thinking about that. That was truly a special moment.
Yes, and you came close also the next year when you were sixth in the Ironman 70.3 World Championship. And like you said, nobody knows what would happen last year if you didn't have that unfortunate incident with the bike. But I think that the way you're progressing, looking at your results and your enthusiasm, I think you have a lot more to show.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I still yeah, I feel like I wasn't at the shape of my life last year coming into Latvia. I feel like that I actually wasn't in that good shape when I finished second in Warsaw last year, and then the week after I won in Luxembourg. And I was in way better shape in Latvia. And I mean, in Luxembourg I beat both Rico Bogen and Jens Radman, and of course you can't really compare races, but I mean they finished first and third at Worlds, so yeah, it's like of course you can never know what could have happened, but I mean on paper it at least looked like there would have been some opportunity to perform well at Worlds, and then yeah, I felt the same way.
Do you ever feel pressure before a race to get a good result, and how do you deal with it?
Um, yeah, I mean, I always have pressure on myself, and I think that's the like biggest one. I don't really feel that much external pressure, but I always have a lot of internal pressure for myself that I want to perform well. And I think that might also have been like what kind of caused the crash in Latvia. That was I was a little too rushed. I wanted it a little too much, and then I rushed it, and then I made a stupid mistake. But I think that's a part of sport, and I think that if you don't like really really want it, then you won't achieve it either. So you really have to yeah have that fire burning in order to achieve what you want. So yeah, how to deal with pressure? I talk with like a sports psychiatrist about it, but I generally don't feel like I have that much of a problem handling pressure. I had it more when I was doing like short course stuff. I was trying to qualify for the Olympics. I had a hard time um, handling the pressure there because we had to perform in every race in order to keep being on the Olympic team, and I felt like that was just a big burden. Whereas now that I'm kind of like my own boss, it's a little easier to handle the pressure. and yeah, I can be a little more relaxed about it. And I'm also older now. I'm more confident in my abilities, and I think that helps as well to take some of the pressure off.
Yes, I understand that. And you said that being your own boss, I guess you have no worries about your boss firing you then if something doesn't go according to plan, right?
No, exactly. That's only myself that I can hit in the head, and usually nothing good comes of that. So yeah, I don't have to be too worried about that.
Yeah, so tell me, if we go to the opposite side a bit, what do you think has been your biggest failure so far?
Oh, probably my first, like my only attempt at an Ironman. I did Ironman Israel in 2022, and I think no, I don't. I did. I underestimated how big of a challenge it would be to do an Ironman. It was just 1 month after 70.3 Worlds, and I was obviously in good shape, and I was very confident that I could just go and do well at Ironman immediately. Um, and that was such a big rookie mistake. Like you can't really, it's like almost two different like sports. Like one takes 4 hours and the other takes 8 hours. And it's just a completely different game. And I definitely underestimated how tough it will be to do an Ironman. And yeah, I think one thing is how long it actually is, but it also just mentally, I think that kind of blocked for me as well. That I was so worried about not having enough energy, having never done, like I hadn't done any like long training preparing for having to bike 180k and running a marathon after that. So yeah, I definitely came in underprepared. But it also gave me a lot of learnings. But I think that's the biggest failure I've ever done was not to prepare properly for my first like Ironman in Israel. I'm happy that I finished the race, but it was not a good experience. And yeah, I definitely have a lot more to show on the Ironman distance than what I showed in Israel in 2022. And at some point, I'll come back to that distance and try it again. And yeah, come prepared.
That's a good segue to my next question, because now I want to know what is the one thing that you wanted to do for a long time but just haven't done it yet?
Yeah, that'll be like a proper try at the Ironman distance. Um, Again, I was in Portugal last year going to do the Ironman, but my red railer was dead at transition, so I never got around to race. But I felt like last year I had prepared well for the Ironman, and I was hoping to compete for a slot for Kona. I mean, ultimately Kona is it's the biggest thing in triathlon, and that's definitely a place that I want to perform well. So yeah, one thing I haven't done that I want to do is Kona for sure. But that requires first that I get around to nail an Ironman and get around to figure out how to race Ironman. But yeah, Kona will be the ultimate like place to perform, and yeah, that's definitely a thing that I'm really looking forward to. Will be to race in Kona.
Okay, that's awesome. But what do you say is the bigger goal or the biggest challenge at this moment for you? Going for Kona or going for, let's say, the T100 series?
Um, I feel like it would be more fun to do the T100 series. So I would rather do that. As of right now, I think it's still bigger to win on Hawaii than it is to win the T100. I think it's tougher probably to win T100 because you have to be consistent for a longer time. Like it's just not one race where you have to be at the top of your game. You have to be consistent throughout a whole year. Um, but Hawaii is just legendary. I mean, Hawaii is Hawaii, and it still doesn't get any bigger than that. I think as of where I am right now, I think that's or I enjoy more the short and fast stuff. So I will probably find it more enjoyable to do the T100 series. I have raced a few of the when it was PTO US Open, no, just Open events. I felt that was super cool. I liked the distance a lot. Yeah, I raced a few of them, and that was awesome. So it's definitely a distance I enjoy, and I would have loved to be a part of the T100 series. But yeah, unfortunately, my performances last year were not good enough to get me in on a contract, and so far hasn't been this year either. So yeah, but I'm definitely hoping to get a wild card for a race either late this year or next year to showcase myself because I still definitely feel that I belong among the best athletes in the world. Um, yeah.
I think your previous results show that, so I'm keeping my fingers crossed and wish that you get on the start line very soon.
Thank you.
Tell me, which song gets you happy or pumped up the most time?
uh, the last song I listen to before a race every time is "Lose Yourself" by Eminem. That's my number one hype song. I think before Worlds in 2021, I just listened to it 4 times in a row. Um, but I always save that for race day only. It's not a song I will listen to in training. Um, yeah, it's safe for special occasions. But yeah, that's my number one hype song. That is definitely "Lose Yourself" by Eminem.
Very popular choice. I think many people agree with you. Tell me, if you could only eat one meal until the rest of your life, which meal would it be?
Oh, pizza, easy.
I agree with you. I always say pizza, so completely understand. What's your guilty pleasure?
Um, mm, that I secretly love Taylor Swift.
Okay, that was unexpected. Does anyone else know that? Can we
No,
publish this?
no. We have to cut this out. This is a secret.
Okay, we have to cut this out, so this conversation never happened. What is one thing that annoys you or makes you angry?
Mm, when people talk with food in their mouth.
I totally understand that, and I
Yeah,
completely agree with you.
I hate that.
So, if you could enforce one rule for the entire world, which one would it be?
World peace.
I agree with that also. That's very, very easy. It just seems that some people don't want it that way.
No,
But
unfortunately not.
that's another conversation that we're not gonna get into. You talked a bit about Kona earlier and
Hmm.
that you want to win that. Is that the ultimate thing that you want to achieve in life? Or is there something else?
Mm, yeah, when we're talking sports, absolutely yes, that would be the biggest thing. Yeah, that's the biggest thing in triathlon. That is to win in Kona. So yeah, absolutely.
And if we don't talk about the sport only, if we talk about the life in general,
I don't know, probably be the 2 kids, but that I've already achieved. So I don't know, to watch them grow and become like the adults and grown-ups that they're going to be. I think that'll be the biggest achievement, and one that I'm very much looking forward to. Even though I'm also very much enjoying that they're just kids now and just enjoying life and enjoying being carried around, and yeah. But yeah, that's definitely like the biggest thing in my life are my kids.
that's awesome. And how do you balance, or what's it like being a professional triathlete and a dad to 2 kids? How do you balance all this? How do you deal with traveling and not being with them? And how do you then act when you come back to them?
So I try to be as present as I can when I am with them, and then I'm trying to be 100% focused when I'm out training. Like, so I try to be very much in the moment, no matter what I'm doing. So I'm trying to be with my kids when I'm with my kids and training when I'm training. And I think it's made me more efficient as well. So when I'm out training, I'm trying to minimize the waste time, to be the less away from home as possible. Um, and then when I'm out for races, I usually travel out a little earlier, to both because I like to know the course really well for the races, but also to maximize like my sleep and my recovery between sessions. That can be a little challenging at times because the kids also expect me like to be when I'm home. They expect me to be with them, and I want to be with them. But that's also it's not 100% perfect for recovery. So I try to I travel a little earlier to races to try and maximize that. And that's probably the toughest part as well is that I'm gone sometime of the year because I'm out to race. But I have a good backup at home with my parents and my parents-in-law. So I know that the kids are always good taken care of, and I'm really thankful that we have FaceTime and stuff like that now, so I can still see and talk with the kids every day. And yeah, that definitely helps.
It seems that you became very efficient with your time since you have kids. How else did having kids change you? Did it maybe change the way you approach sport or racing or something else?
I think it gave me a bigger motivation actually, because it might sound weird, but I felt like I had something more to race for than just myself. So I feel like every time I'm racing now, I'm not just racing for myself, I'm also racing for them, and I want to show them that they should pursue their dreams. Like no matter how crazy they seem, they should pursue them because they might very well become true. And like I want them to see that if you set a goal, you have to chase it and you have to work hard in order to achieve it. And yeah, just it gave me a whole lot of motivation. I want to achieve something as well that they can look back and be proud of. Yeah.
Okay, that's a very nice answer. But if you had a choice and if you weren't a professional triathlete, but you could be a professional in one other sport, which sport would you choose?
Oh, well, that's a good question. Probably football. I think I love to watch football. I think it's a fun game to play, but I'm really really bad at it. But I would choose to be a professional football player. Um, yeah, it would also be nice to earn some more money. That would be cool.
Okay, that's an interesting question. I thought you were maybe gonna say swimming because of your background, or maybe cycling because Danish people seem to be very good at cycling, at least recently.
Jonas, Jonas took the win today. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that. And he's on a very good way to achieve another great result in the tour, especially given his recent injuries. And do you know where his main rival comes from?
Yeah, Slovenia.
Yeah, the same as me. So we had a Danish-Slovenian battle in the tour today, and now we're gonna talk and continue the battle here, or so it seems. But returning to our previous conversation, you obviously chose triathlon for your career. So tell me now, why do you still do triathlon?
Yeah, because I feel like I still have like so many things I want to achieve, and I have so many things that I haven't tried yet. Um, so yeah, like and I still have so much love for the sport. Like, yeah, I still have a lot of things I want to achieve. I have a lot of things I haven't discovered yet. Like, I still like haven't found out how to do the perfect Ironman. I haven't really dug into that. And I still feel like I have a lot of potential that I haven't shown. Um, yeah.
That's a short but very nice answer. So at the end of the podcast, I let my guest leave a question for the next guest. The previous guest I was talking to was Rasmus Svenningsson, a
Mm-hmm.
professional triathlete from Sweden, who you probably know.
Mm-hmm.
And he wants to know, how do you usually feel when you go out to run a marathon in an Ironman? Now, you obviously only done one Ironman before and you said it didn't go so great, but maybe you can extrapolate that to the 70.3 distance.
Um, Yeah, I actually want to do it for the Ironman.
Okay.
So I ran the first 200 meters and looked down at my watch. I was like, no way, I still have to do 42K. And I was
Okay.
like, there's no way on earth that I'm going to run 42 kilometers. I was like, I can't have only run 200 meters and already be thinking about I have to do a marathon. This is not the way to do it. And I was so disappointed about myself. And I was running just thinking, oh, this is such a bad idea. And I saw my coach out there and I was like, why have nobody told me that it's such a long way that you have to run? And he was just laughing at me saying, come on, Miki, just one step at a time. And that was definitely the way to do it. And yeah, so don't think about how long you have to run because it is ridiculously long and you are absolutely going to feel smashed at the time you're going to have to run a marathon. And I feel the same way when I do my 70.3, but 21 kilometers is just 21 kilometers. Like I feel like you can always do that, but a marathon is just a whole different beast.
I think Rasmus will appreciate the answer because he also said that he always feels shit in the marathon, so he's gonna like your answer. So tell me, What is the question that you have for the next guest?
I want to know what the person's pre-race meal is.
Okay, we're gonna ask the next guest and we're gonna let you know, but you're gonna have to listen to the podcast to know the answer.
I will. I can tell that my pre-race meal is a pizza.
Even in the if the races are in the morning.
Yeah. No. But the night before, I'll always have a pizza.
Oh, but what about the breakfast before the morning race?
Oh, that's white bread with Nutella and Coke.
Okay, that's an interesting choice, but also a very logical one.
Mm.
Thank you very much, Miki, for coming on the podcast. It was a real pleasure talking to you, and you seem so happy, so enthusiastic, so cheerful that I hope all the audience will get some of this cheerfulness from you. Tell
Yeah,
us,
thanks for having me. It was a pleasure to be on the podcast. And yeah, thanks for the questions. It was a lot of fun, and yeah, it was nice to get challenged a little bit, and have to think about to think a little bit more about my why. That was cool.
well, thank you. That's a bit of a point of this podcast, and I'm glad that we made it work. So tell us, if people want to know more about you, follow your journey, where can people find you?
Follow me on Instagram. That's where I post the most. It's just my name, Miki Taagholt.
Okay, that's great. I'm gonna put the link into the show notes so people will have no problem finding you. And
Cool.
like I said, I wish you all the best in your career, in your life, a lot of health, and I hope that you return back on the winning race as soon as possible.
Thank you, Clement. It's been a pleasure.